Okay, good morning. I call the meeting to order. You have the agenda before you. Is there any changes to the agenda or anything that needs to be noted?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. Betty, would you read the minutes of the April 17th meeting?
April 17th, 2023, Chairman Cluse called the regular meeting of the Wright County Board of Supervisors to order at 9 a.m. Members present were Cluse, Rasmussen, and Helgebold. Motion by Rasmussen, seconded by Helgebold to approve the tentative agenda. Motion carries. The minutes of the previous regular meeting of April 10, 2023 were read and approved. Approved claims for payment. In open forum, Bob Watts asked about Summit Carbon Solutions pipeline discussion in Dows. Motion by Rasmussen, seconded by Helgebold to approve resolution 2023-19. An addition and amendment to the original resolution 2022-14 and 2022-35 to approve disbursement of funds for the American Rescue Plan Act. By roll call vote, ayes. Cluse, Rasmussen, and Helgebold, nays, none. Resolution 2023-19 duly passes and reads as follows. And there you can see the full resolution in its entirety. Motion by Rasmussen, seconded by Helgebold to authorize Sandy McGrath to sign the county substance abuse grant for the Board of Supervisors. Motion carries. This will allow for more education in Wright County for substance abuse. Jeremy Hogrief, Deputy Sheriff, mentioned they will be trying to get into each school within the county to discuss the misuse of prescription medication and vaping. Jeremy Abbas, Assistant to the County Engineer, gave an update on the secondary roads. There were 8 work orders completed last week. Crews are continuing to work on engineer miles, which are 55% complete. The snow equipment will be coming off all the equipment this week. Motion by Rasmussen, seconded by Helgebold to approve the professional services agreement with Snyder and Associates Incorporated for the Wright County Inspector Services on the Summit Carbon Solutions pipeline. Motion carries. Snyder and Associates Incorporated, along with McClure Engineering, will also be inspecting the Wright County Drainage District tile. Auditor Ellis presented the Unison Voting Solution Open Elect Voting System Purchase Agreement with Adkins. The current system can no longer receive software updates. The quote for 6 scanners, 6 ADA compliant machines, and a laptop for the report printer will total $49,056 with the trade-in. Adkins is currently offering 0% interest for 3 years. Motion by Rasmussen, seconded by Helgebold to approve the purchase agreement for 0% interest for 3 years for the total of $49,056. Motion carries. Motion by Cluse, seconded by Rasmussen to receive the quarterly revenue report from the Wright County Auditor. Motion carries. Motion by Rasmussen, seconded by Helgebold to receive the monthly revenue report from the Wright County Sheriff. Motion carries. Matt McDonald and Sean McCoy gave an update on the Water Quality Initiative batch and build. Installing saturated buffer strips and filter strips removes 40 to 60% of nitrates before the water is put into the ditch. They have installed 250 statewide in the last 2 years. McDonald mentioned they are actively seeking landowners that would like to install these practices. They are looking to do multiple projects as one big project, which the county will hold the bid letting for contractors. This would take approximately 2 years to complete. There will be more information provided in the near future. Courtney Morris, Drainage Clerk, presented the following 2023 joint assessments with Hamilton County. Joint Drainage District 233 for Wright County and number 7 for Hamilton. Total levy $6,672.04. Wright County share is $192.77. Joint Drainage District 48 for Wright County and 86 for Hamilton. The total amount levied is $7,123.54. Wright County share is $1,075.34. Motion by Cluse, second by Helgebold to approve the Joint Drainage District assessments between Wright County and Hamilton County in 2023. Motion carries. Motion by Gary McVicker, Wright County Supervisor, and seconded by Richard Lukensmeyer, Franklin County Supervisor, to open the meeting as Drainage District Trustees. Motion carries. Lee Galentine, Flapside, Garber Associates, or CGA, explained the plans were done and ready for bid. Cluse with Wright County mentioned concern he had with two stations showing the spoil bank outside of the 100-foot easement. Galantine explained that it was a CAD issue and that they would not allow the spoil bank to cross outside of the right of way. Motion by Clues, seconded by Gary McVicker with Franklin County Supervisor to approve the specifications for lower main open ditch construction on Joint Drainage District 100-2 in Franklin and Wright counties, and to set the bid letting for May 15, 2023 at 10:30 a.m. at Franklin County. Motion carries. Motion by Richard Lukensmeyer, Franklin County Supervisor, and seconded by Clues to close the meeting. Motion carries. Motion by Rasmussen, seconded by Helgevold to adjourn the meeting. Motion carries.
Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, they'll stand approved as read. Okay, claims have been around. Item number 5, open forum for public input. Mark, did you have something for us?
Did you ever do anything on that, old maintenance building, the roof?
The old,
I gotta still get, I'm still asking for a quote, so I haven't got a quote yet.
yeah, it's on the old, right next to the sign shed.
East side of the bridge. East area, so
Okay,
we were still waiting on a quote from, I think, Sadler, so I'll get with Jake. So,
Needs to be done.
Okay.
Needed to be done last year, that's all I was gonna say.
is this the old,
yeah,
The old maintenance building.
Yeah, it's just,
the old tin?
they use it for storage.
It's got a hell of a good building if it's taken care of, but if you don't fix the roof, you won't have anything, you know.
I'm just trying to picture where it's at.
bridge head north of the sheriff's office,
Okay,
east building,
okay. Got
the
it,
old maintainer shed.
You
got
can
it.
see it from oh, that park over there.
Okay,
My grandkids are playing in that park and I said, oh, they're looking at it and it just makes me disgusted. It should have been done a year ago, that's all.
yeah,
Fair enough.
very good. Thank you, sir. Okay, anybody online? Jason? Okay, review and act on resolution, item number 6, review and act on resolution 2023-21 to adopt the 2023-24 Wright County budget. So, resolution 2023-21 reads, whereas Iowa Code 331 or 0.434 subparagraph 5 requires that after the budget hearing, the Wright County Board of Supervisors shall adopt by resolution a budget and certificate of taxes. And whereas the Wright County Board of Supervisors has met the budget publication requirements set in 331 through publication in all 3 official newspapers in the county. And whereas the Wright County Board of Supervisors has met the budget hearing requirements in accordance with 331 through public hearing held on April 10th, 2023 at 9:30 a.m. Therefore, be it resolved on the 24th day of April 2023 that the Wright County Board of Supervisors hereby adopts by resolution the attached adoption of budget and certification of taxes for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2023 and ending June 30th, 2024.
This is the certification of taxes, and that's the resolution.
Is there any discussion?
Make a motion to approve resolution 2023-21, adoption of the 2023-2024 Wright County budget.
Second,
I have a motion and a second to approve resolution 2023 resolution for the adoption of budget and certification of taxes for fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2023 and ending June 30th, 2024 per Iowa Code 331. By roll call vote, Carl.
Aye.
Rick.
aye.
Dean. Aye. Motion carried. Item number 7, appoint Eric Rector, Wright County Conservation Director, to work on water quality initiatives on the Wright County farm located in section 5, Lincoln Township. I have before me a letter addressed to the FSA, NRCS, and Soil and Water Conservation District staff. The Wright County Board of Supervisors authorizes Eric Rector, Wright County Conservation Director, to work with the different agencies concerning water quality initiatives on the Wright County farm located in section 5 of Lincoln Township, which is the county farm just south of the landfill and the cemetery. This is a requirement in order for him to work with those agencies. Is there any discussion concerning that?
I'll make a motion to appoint Eric Rector.
I'll second it. I have a motion and a second to appoint Eric Rector, Wright County Conservation Director, to work on water quality initiatives on the Wright County farm located in section 5, Lincoln Township, and authorizing me to sign the letter. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carried. Item number 8, Adam Clemens, Wright County Engineer, consider resolution 2023-20 adjustment to specific bridge embargoes.
This resolution, was segued by our last, inspection of our bridges that we have to do every year with our, structural engineer. They made a recommendation of changing 4 bridges. They're load posting on 4 bridges, so Bridge 52, Bridge 138, Bridge 144, and 157A. 3 out of the 4 we already had our eye on. Bridge 144 we really didn't, so we'll start taking a look and see what's going on there. Bridge 52, I think we were looking at a culvert there. Bridge 138, we were looking at a culvert specifically because that's 190th Street, kind of a thoroughfare from County K all the way over to Hancock. And then Bridge 157A is on Lewick Lane south of Belmont, which we already have in the 5-year program, going to be let in December, January sometime.
That's culvert too.
Probably a big box culvert, yes. Yep, very large box culvert. So, because there's a triple 8x8 or 10x10.
And what year did you think that would be? Possibly that?
157, let next, either this December or January.
Okay.
So at the DOT, so we already have that.
I don't think I do.
So,
No big surprises then.
no.
So all of these are more restricted
Yes.
embargoes.
Yes,
Okay.
Yep.
Did any of them have current embargoes?
I do believe all of them did.
Okay,
So,
all right.
That bridge number 52 on Union Avenue,
Mhm.
section 16 of Blaine Township, is that north? Blaine?
Second.
16.
Union Avenue,
Right here.
yeah. It's easily gone. So, doesn't have much that big of a drainage area. I
Yeah,
think it comes from this
that's
way, so we should be able to put a culvert in. Probably a large culvert, probably
Gotta go back.
maybe 1 or 2 of them, but.
Yeah.
So,
Any further questions for Adam concerning this resolution?
Make a motion to approve this resolution, 2023-22. 20, excuse me.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve resolution 2023-20 adjustment to specific bridge embargoes. By roll call vote, Carl,
Aye.
Rick,
Aye.
Dean, aye, motion carried.
And what were the bridge numbers again?
to the right.
On your resolution.
That's all right. So local bridge numbers.
And on what street, so.
So a quick update, last week, they guys did talk to you about prepping and leveling engineer mile, blades are out doing that when we're hauling to them. We are gonna do a project on 310th Street, east of Highway 69. So this goes to the mega site, that, yeah, we talked to Mike Bowman. can't remember what the company is, it's not Spargo, but,
Okay.
Central Valley.
yeah, yep. They have and we talked to them about adjusting where they're coming in for this specific time period. What we're gonna do is we're gonna cut the shoulders, retrieve the shoulders, go down to kind of the bottom of the ditch, pull that all up on top. Work it in, pack it in, and then
Rock it.
re-rock it.
Good.
So
And that's on what, 300
310th for about a mile and a half or two. So.
in
going
Vernon?
east. Yes,
Okay.
yep. So we'll reroute them from the south for a while. And we're working that with Mike Bowman.
Okay. Sounds good. And then, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, yeah, trucks are still hauling the engineer miles. I'll jump down to granular program update. We're 87.5% complete, 49 out of the 56 segments. Zone 1 is complete. And now zone 3, Belmont is complete. So, work orders, we completed 7 last week, 5 repair and 2 right-of-way pitches. So that's all I have for that. What were you gonna ask?
I wasn't gonna ask, I was just gonna make it public information that the county had received notification of a long-range transmission project on a high line in the southern part of the county that crosses Vernon, Wall Lake, Woolstock, and Troy townships. That'll be done by Mid-America. It's upgrading this transmission line from the wooden H-style poles to the large steel poles. And they'll be needing to seek some additional right of way due to the height now. The public meeting will be June 1st at Rails. That's where the location is in Wright County for the meeting. There are 2 other locations, one in Franklin and one in Webster County. Those are the 3 affected counties for this project.
And it's way south along that
It's
Wright Hamilton County border, right?
Well, it's a half mile north of the
Yeah.
county line.
Yeah, so it's in that last row.
Yeah.
The bottom
Okay.
row of
Yeah.
township or sections.
Yeah.
So. Right now.
If you're driving down C-70 and look to your south, you see the transmission line, the existing one. Okay. Item number 9, handbook. Did you have anything else?
I don't.
Item number 9, handbook committee, review and consider updated employee handbook.
Okay, I just gave you a kind of a highlight sheet of what has been changed in the handbook. If you wish to look through the handbook, here's the copy that you will be approving today. We've been working on this for how long? Over 6 months, probably pretty close to. So maybe we'll just go down the highlight sheet and we'll talk about those. We changed within our group, it was obviously Deb, Peggy, and myself and Eric Simonson, the county attorney. We also reached out to Mike Galloway and Elizabeth, what's your last name? Heffernan. So, from Allerton Cooney, and got their, respective changes that they wish to have in there. Mainly all of her changes and Mike's changes, were code-based, FMLA, language that needed to be put in and we were changed over the years. So, first item that we looked at was we changed the probationary period from 6 months to 12 months. For secondary roads, we think that we would like to have that for 12 months, just due to the simple fact that they see all seasons.
Right.
We may not catch somebody that may not blade the whole entire time or go through winter. I think we can all say that, going through tax season, going through month end elections, or even year end, so would be helpful. 2.3 hours of earnings and hours of work provision by department. So on some of these items that you'll see through here were in the engineers and secondary roads appendix when the union left or got disbanded from the secondary roads. We put it in an appendix. Now we actually just put it
back in
inside.
line, okay.
So that they haven't changed. We just influx them into the handbook.
Okay.
So appendix for compensatory time, longevity, spraying, license bonus. Then we also added buildings and grounds for their earnings and hours of work. 2.4 reimbursement expenses, change the gratuity from 15 to 20%. And then this was specific unless a higher gratuity was required or is required by the establishment. That we've had a couple of those instances where we've been in a group together and that establishment will require a higher gratuity than what was allowed by our and there's no way for us to change it, so. And then we changed the per diem from $25 a day to $75 a day. Holidays, for the worked, this came up this last year, for the engineer's office of secondary roads. It specifically states that, if they are required to work on the calendar holiday, they will be paid at time and a half. Guaranteed. We didn't do that this last time because it was a Sunday. It wasn't the observed holiday, so we have swapped it out and, just to make it a lot cleaner, you know, if the guys are all called out on Christmas Day or any
Oh,
other.
That's right, that happened
So
this year.
that happened this year. So they'll automatically get overtime. But if they work during the work week on the observed holiday, it will count as they will be paid at straight time. But it will count towards their calculations. Yes, their calculation of overtime during that week.
Good.
Okay. And then we added the communications dispatch department verbiage for their overtime.
Okay.
Vacation eligibility and accrual, we changed the accrual to per pay period. We discussed that with Deb, and she doesn't think it should be an issue through solutions, correct?
Correct.
And then we also changed it to the following schedule. The big change that you'll see there is we kept the first year the same at 6 point, is, you know, around about 6 days of vacation currently that they get 6.24. But from the second year all the way through the 30th year, we added more time there. I think the second year normal was 10. Is that correct? And then it went up from there. So we kind of dropped the schedule down to the specific years there. And then we also added the 2 extra rows there of 25 through 29 and over 30th year. So.
Do you have anybody in those?
I do, yeah, Terry Howson.
Okay, very good, Eric.
Yep. Vacation carryover, we changed from 30 to 40 days, so we can have 40 days on the books at one time. Before you start potentially losing them. Sick leave eligibility and accrual, the biggest change there was changing it to a per pay period accrual. And then we changed the schedule, and the schedule is as per how many hours you work, that you're scheduled to work per day, so. Next page.
And when you're in your probationary period, does that affect any of these? No.
No, you still,
Okay.
you still, and you can still take.
Okay.
Yes. Use of sick leave, this is one of the things that we discussed with Mike Galloway, to move from 5 days to 10 days of sick leave that you can use for family sick leave, so opens that up a little bit more. We added the highlighted parts in the 3.10 bereavement leave. So currently you can only use 5 and 3, and then there's a 1 day to be a pallbearer. We kept that one the same, but we added the optional use of an extra 5 days for the first level, but that has to be approved by the department head. And then of sick leave, excuse me, 5 days of leave, 5 days of sick leave, and then also 2 days of sick leave with approval of the department head on both those levels. So. Just for an added time in case something happens to a family member. Dress and
But
grooming,
you don't have to be sick.
no,
Essentially, you have to have department head approval to spend that extra 5 days there.
yes.
And that comes
Okay,
off your
sick
sick time.
Comes off of
Sick
sick
time.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. Dress and grooming, we thought about it, and kind of the way our verbiage was, the biggest thing that we added at the end of that was department heads may provide Wright County low-bid apparel to their employees for use at work. We thought that we're already kind of doing that, so we should at least have it in the handbook that allows for that. And then also that I discussed with the sheriff, since he has a specific code section, and his uniforms cost more than probably most of us think about spending on clothing. So it's specific to 331.657 Iowa code. And then we added a chapter for forms at the end of the book. And so there is a per diem form that you must submit to your department head that will go through the auditor's office, and then donated leave policy, or donated leave form, and then telecommuting form, since we didn't have a telecommuting form prior to COVID, so.
So tell me how many hours you worked at home then, is that what that form
It's
is?
essentially allowing you to work
Oh,
at home,
okay.
so making the arrangements, so if you need a VPN access, computer,
Gotcha.
files, that sort of thing, that you'll take them home you'll be responsible for it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, appreciate your work on this, and that's all we got. Fun thing to tackle.
So what I have on the agenda is for you guys to approve and set an effective date, which we were gonna recommend July 1, just because it sets the new fiscal year. And then also you would need to send a letter to the sheriffs and deputies and jailers union. As per their contract, letting them know that this policy changes have been made and the effective date is July 1.
And will you, prepare that letter?
I can do that for you. Yeah.
Let me see, what was the question I had? So if we have all of the department heads, obviously you've spoken with them and went over these changes with them prior to bringing this to us.
We've sent an email to the department heads as well as the supervisors, March 2nd, allowed
Yep.
till March 17th and we got a few.
Okay, all right. Anything that stands out in those? No, okay. Okay.
The one thing that we are going to change with the handbook, we won't necessarily print them out unless the employee requests it. I'm going to create a PDF form that is linkable, so clickable. So when you go to the specific section that you want to, or in the index, you can actually click on that index part and it'll take you right to that section without having to scroll and try to find it. So,
Okay. But it will be posted on the website.
Yep.
After July 1st, when it becomes effective, or.
Yep.
My concern is the confusion that we could create is that we're approving this and the effective date is July 1. And now which one's on the website? The one that's currently in effect or this one?
The
Or both?
website will stay with the one that's current, and then after July 1, we will update that.
Okay.
All of the employees will get the email prior to the effective date, so they have time to read it and see
Okay.
what changes might affect them.
Okay,
We'll get those out prior to July 1, but as far as the website goes, we'll wait until after the July 1 to post the new one.
And
I was
you'll
going
be
to-
having them sign something.
yes,
that they-
Yes.
yep, they will need to sign that they've acknowledged that they've received it.
okay,
So, the other thing I was going to request is that we maybe do a department head meeting in the next 2 months. Specifically, one of the agenda items could be to go over this with the department heads, just to, so that they're all on the same page that
Yeah.
these are the changes that have been made and it's effective for July 1.
Good idea.
So,
Do you need approval of this today?
yeah, I would like you,
to set
the
the date.
board to take action on, approving the draft
Setting-
as presented and setting the effective date and sending a letter to the union.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve that.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to, accept the changes to the employee handbook, set the effective date for July 1st, 2024 for that, for the changes.
2023.
2023.
July 1st, 2023, excuse me. And to, send notification to the deputies and jailers, as per the current contract language. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Thanks for your work
Yeah,
on that. Appreciate that. Any meetings?
I have, Ugmo tomorrow, late afternoon.
I have CICS later this week, and with the new legislation, we're gonna be finding out how it's gonna be, the board's gonna be transformed on that. Since the state does all the funding, so I'll have more of an update after that meeting on Thursday. And our DCAT meeting was canceled. We did not get any additional funding for DCAT.
That's not good.
No,
And does DCAT now come under a different department head at the state level?
not yet.
Okay.
I'm not sure how that's gonna all fall.
Is that DCAT, is that through McKinley Bailey?
No, DCAT is through, it's the DCAT organization,
But it would help with some funding.
DHS, juvenile courts, and then the supervisors from 3 counties. That's from Foster.
So the funding goes through Webster City, Webster County?
Goes through our administrator, DHS. Yeah, it comes through, we have a coordinator, we share it with the cluster from Webster County.
But some of those funds typically. did
And then
come to
what we
McKinley's
do is then,
program.
like
Yes.
McKinley Bailey or Parent Connections or
Yes.
Hopes,
Mhm.
those fund, they fund from there to us that way.
I have a building families today, I have Midas on Wednesday and CFR on Thursday. And I may try and scoot over to Hampton and see if I can catch they were gonna have a meeting this morning at, I think it's 10 or 10:30. Setting moratorium on pipelines. So just to see how that goes,
So the moratorium on
I believe so. I think that was the purpose behind it. So. Anything else? Go ahead, Sandy.
Sorry, I should have done this in open forum, but the monovalent vaccine is no longer authorized. It's all bivalent right now for COVID vaccines. And there has been an approval for a second booster for 65.
65 and up. That's not me.
Rick?
That ain't me either.
Yeah,
Maybe another 8 months, but I ain't doing it anyhow.
I guess the only other thing that I had to bring up in new business is, Betty, can you speak at all to the House File 1 that is now 1248 or something? And the Senate thing, both of those look like they were restricting local control of local dollars.
It's in essence, when we were talking about going back to the $3.50 on your general basic, they've now changed it in a different way. And one, I think the Senate file was trying to do it by parcel, 103% parcel by parcel, which
Okay.
is an administrative nightmare. And then the other one, was, I think, restricting it to the 350. I was gone the last 3 days, so I didn't read, and I did go on our executive board meeting on Friday. But it's still, they're still negotiating, but they are going to come up with some sort of property tax reform of some sort, and it's gonna put a squeeze next year on us.
Yeah, but it seemed to me like when we looked at it earlier, when they were talking about a 103% limit on it. On the budget that we just approved, it would have been like to the tune of 600 and some thousand dollars. Is what I recall.
If they, that $600 some thousand was if we had to go back to the $3.50.
Okay,
And we would have to cut our budget by that amount of dollars.
when I read the through the bill or what ISAC had sent out concerning it, it sounded to me like that might open us up to be able to go to one of the supplemental levies, because there weren't any restrictions on that.
So you have to use it with the same items only can be used in it, but they weren't gonna restrict it.
Right, which requires more work on our behalf to trying to balance that. What can come out of it?
Yeah, your insurance, your health insurance, your benefits can come out of supplemental. You know, there's a laundry list of things that can come out of supplemental. I have moved over about as much as I can.
Good.
To move over more, we'll start having to get pretty creative. I know one county, you know, like your court system, the courthouse. They went through and they figured out 30% of the courthouse is the courts, the courtroom, the state. So 70% was everything else. So they started paying all the courthouse expense, your heating, your electricity, everything out of supplemental. And they said, well, that is because of the court system. I mean, so
Usually have a whole floor.
yeah, so I never thought about doing that. Is that gonna get a $600,000?
No,
Our meeting was the same way. It looks like they're gonna do something this year, but it's right now, it's back and forth.
I just worry that it's gonna happen and we're not gonna have any input into it.
As it gets closer to the end of the.
Right,
the
I
term.
mean, I think this week is the end of it, right?
Well, it's the end of their per diem.
Okay.
They can continue on, but they don't get any per diem on it.
Anything else?
Nope.
Do a motion to adjourn.
Sorry.
A motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Or adjourned.